Welcome to the Bison Coaches Corner. It's time to talk Bison men's basketball as we head to the Summit League tournament here in Sioux Falls this week, and we have something to celebrate. The Bison men are co-conference champions this year with South Dakota State. We welcome head coach David Richman. Congratulations on that feat, and talk about what that means for your program and for the guys in the locker room to say, hey, you know, we're tied for first, we're co-champs.
That's a great feat. You know, anytime you set out your goal is to win the league, and that's what we were able to do. It happened in a real unique way in us not playing very well Thursday at Oral Roberts and then turning around and having our destiny in somebody else's hands. But again, throughout the course of a 16-game schedule, for us to be 12-4 and to share the league title, very, very proud of our guys.
Let's talk about that Oral Roberts game briefly before we set up the bracket. Your guys go on the road. It's tough to play at Oral Roberts. Tulsa's a very tough place to play, and ORU came out with a little purpose, didn't they?
Yeah, there's no question. You know, we had a tough travel day the day before, and then we walked into a complete buzzsaw. Oral Roberts had went through some adversity and suspended a player. I think they rallied behind that quite a bit, but we also sharpened that saw as well. We didn't come out aggressive. And I think hopefully it's a refocus going into the Summit League tournament in Sioux Falls here this weekend.
How do you feel about your team going in now as we start to look towards the bracket, look towards the Summit League tournament? Everyone wants to be peaking at tournament time. How do you feel about your guys?
Feel good for the most part. We're still a little banged up. I don't think Corey Brown is the Corey Brown that we saw probably about 5-6 games ago. And so hopefully, you know, we're doing some things early here this week in practice to give him some time to, you know, to hopefully fully get, you know, healed. But, you know, at the same time, especially against a team that like Denver that executes the way they do, we've got to get them some reps in practice.
Okay, looking at the field a little bit, the 1 versus 8 is NDSU and Western Illinois, and we're on the bottom is the 2-7 NDSU and Denver, and there's the 3-6 and the 4-5. What do you think of the field this year? What do you think of the conference as a whole this year?
The parity is just ridiculous. I think I looked the other day, the point differential from the 2nd seed all the way to the 8th seed is like 7. You know, we're going to play a Denver team that we've been to overtime with as the 7th seed, who was preseason number 2. You know, you can really just throw it up in the air right now, and I legitimately think there's about 5 or 6 teams that have a legit chance to win this thing.
How about getting the 1 or the 2? As we look at previous matchups with Denver, you get that Saturday game. You know, if you're fortunate enough to win, obviously you don't want to look ahead at all, but you get the Sunday off. That's what's attributed to the 1 and the 2, and that's a nice thing to have.
That's a great thing to have, but like you said, you know, we're going to face a tough Denver team that we've been to overtime with twice, and a preseason number 2. Brett Olson's playing extremely well. He's playing like the preseason player of the year he was picked to be, and so we're going to have our hands full. And if we are fortunate enough to win on Saturday, will be nice to regroup Sunday and find out who we play. At the same time, we got our hands full Saturday night.
What do you think of this Denver team? Obviously, you mentioned it preseason. Everyone thought they were going to be a real factor for the title. You know, things happen throughout the course of a season, but just because they're the 7, you know, you got to analyze them almost as a 2 or a 3 because that's where they were predicted, and they have that ability, don't they?
Yeah, I think like anybody throughout the course of the year, different things happen. I know they've had some injuries. They still, the Jalen Love kid didn't play this past weekend, and so they're probably, if anybody, you look at, they went on the road Wednesday and just destroyed a good South Dakota team, and then battled, you know, an ORU team on Saturday. They're playing as well as anybody, and they're scary. The way they execute and what they do offensively, and also the uniqueness of how they defend with their matchup stuff, can give you some real fits.
How do you really analyze their style, and how do you adjust to their style? You know, the guys have played it twice this year, but how do you go into this game? Because I know South Dakota mentioned after their game that their guys got frustrated a little bit. Going in, they knew what the style was, but you also have to adjust in game and really, you know, attribute, you know, how you're going to beat these guys.
I think the word that we're using this week is embrace it. You know, it is what it is right now, and it's not something you see every day. I'm not saying it's the most fun offense to play against, but hopefully we can lean on some past experiences the last couple years, the last couple games, and I think, again, with anything, the biggest thing you got to adjust is the speed and timing and the pace that they're playing with, and that takes some time. You can see, especially at home for us, you know, us scoring 16 and you know, being down 10 at half. It wasn't a good situation, but again, give our guys some credit. You know, they're resilient. They stuck with it. learn the system a little bit as it continued to go on, and we're fortunate enough to get a couple wins.
What do you think of this new facility down in Sioux Falls? I've heard great things about it, have not seen it yet, but it's going to be a different environment if nothing else. The old Sioux Falls Arena, very loud when it got crowded. This is going to be nicer, more plush, but will it be as loud? You know, those types of things. What do you think of the new arena?
Yeah, I had a chance to be in it a couple weeks ago on a recruiting trip, and it's nice. Just like you'd expect, Sanford and Premier, the Premier Center, they did it right. And so we're excited to be in there. It's on top of a sheet of ice, which we're accustomed to playing against. But it's big. I think it can hold, about 7.5 in regular, and they can open it up to about 12.5. So it's going to be fun. We're excited about it. It'll create some real buzz, I know. I mean, the two South Dakota teams have done, obviously, pretty well this year. So we're looking forward to it.
Best of luck to you and your team, Dave. It's March Madness, always a fun time, and the Bison have a lot of experience, and we'll look forward to maybe celebrating like we did last year.
That'd be great. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right. Enjoy it. We'll see you down in Sioux Falls, and we encourage Bison Nation to make their way down to Sioux Falls. The Bison need you. The Bison need that fan base out there. We'll see you down there.